YouTube, what's going on? Racing Chemical here. Colton Herta, the IndyCar star, may actually be on his way to F1. I didn't really mean for that to rhyme. Anyways, if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for daily and weekly Formula One discussion content. So, the deal with Colton Herta is as follows. Now, obviously, the possibility of an Andretti-led buy-in to Sauber's controlling company has prompted speculation that it could lead to Colton Herta making a shocking switch from IndyCar to F1. The potential for Herta to become the first driver since Sebastian Bourdais to swap U.S. single-seater racing for F1 depends entirely on whether his IndyCar boss Michael Andretti seals a deal to take the family name back to F1 as a team owner. Now, part of the appeal for Andretti and F1 would be the potential benefits around a front-running American team in F1's new era of lower costs and more equal teams, and greater fan and commercial interest in the United States, with the number of races there potentially rising to 3. An American driver, something F1 has previously declared its interest in, would complement that nicely, hence the speculation around Herta, arguably IndyCar's brightest talent and a 6-time winner at just the age of 21 years old. Unless the FIA super license criteria changes, Herta is currently ineligible. A super license is mandatory to race in F1, and to qualify, a driver must have scored 40 points through the FIA-controlled super license system across 3 seasons. Now, most racing fans obviously know that, and that's also a hurdle besides the money and the finances when it comes to a driver trying to get into F1. Now, the real question is whether or not Colton Herta, if he could be eligible, whether or not he should make that switch. Personally speaking, I think Colton has so much momentum on his side in IndyCar. I would hate to see him make that switch just for him to become a midfield or at the back of the pack type of driver, and I just don't think he really deserves that. I'm not saying he doesn't have the talent. I think he is one of the most talented IndyCar drivers on the current grid, and again, he's only 21 years old. I think he could do well in F1, but right now with his momentum on IndyCar, it seems, I don't necessarily think it'd probably be the best idea for him to make that switch unless he feels he is ready to go. I've seen some people say that they believe he should stay in IndyCar for another year, try to win the championship, and then based off of that, make the switch to F1, which I personally also think would be a better solution. And I think it would really get Colton ready for the world of F1, which I believe he can handle. But maybe another year in IndyCar and trying to get him to win the championship would help make that transition smoother. But at the end of the day, I don't think any of us will be surprised if we were to see him somewhere on the grid in the 2022 season, which I think would be awesome. But I think that's highly doubtful, and maybe it'll be 2023 at the earliest that we could see Colton Herta on an F1 grid. Nonetheless, I just want to see the kid succeed. I mean, again, it's crazy how young he is, just like other great drivers, but the fact that he has been pretty dominant in IndyCar, I definitely think under the right management and in the right environment, he could definitely make things work in F1, especially if Andretti decides to go back over there, which, again, I would also like to see. I think F1 needs some things to kind of, liven up a bit. The Sprint Series test, whatever you want to call it, I don't think has really been going over well, though there have been fans that have been supporting it, but there are also fans as well as drivers who are like, it's okay, but it really isn't as big of a game changer that we initially thought it would be. So with that being said, maybe you take less emphasis on the sprint races and maybe trying to get Andretti and an American driver back into F1 could not just pique interest, obviously, for those of us here in the States, but also for F1 as a sport in general. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think Alexander Rossi is technically the last American driver that raced in F1, and that was back over 10 years ago. So I think it would be great to see Colton on the grid, and actually I do hope to see him on the F1 grid one day. I just don't know if 2022 would be the best idea or if it would be better for him to wait till 2023. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section below in regards to whether or not you think Colton Herta should make the jump to F1 in the future, and we'll take it from there. Appreciate you guys letting me support on the channel. Thank you to all you guys who have subscribed to the channel in the last couple of weeks, but unfortunately that's all the time I have for you today. I will see you all later. Goodbye.